Hello, welcome to Villa Scriptura, or should I say Velo Scripturo, because of all these bikes I have here. Today I'm going to share with you the bikes from my wonderful cycling stable. School's out, finished with school for the summer, so I'm very happy about that and ready to seize the summer and do all those wonderful activities we enjoy doing here in the great Pacific Northwest during this time of the year. You know, I had actually considered calling my channel Velo Scripturo because I envisioned initially that it would be a cycling dominated channel. But after some consideration, I thought, hey, I'm gonna be hiking, backpacking, cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, snow camping, all sorts of things far beyond just cycling. So I thought the Villa Scriptura would make more sense. Plus it sort of goes along with the Sola Scriptura thought and focus on Bible study and making the Word of God central to what's going on. Today I'll be excited about introducing our next adventure in our Villa Scriptura travels. Today you're going to see Mark Valeske and I travel over the old McKenzie Scenic Highway in Central Oregon near Sisters, Oregon. And Mark is someone I've been traveling around with on the bicycle, cycling, touring for quite some time. We were colleagues with Portland Public Schools. He's since retired. I'm still teaching in my 5th grade position. He was an occupational therapist, and we go way back many years we've known each other, but maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago we started going on these regular trips on our bicycles and having a great time. But before I let you see the beginning of that journey, it's going to be actually a 2-part episode across the McKenzie Highway. I thought I would introduce you to the members of my stable, my mighty bicycle steeds. Now, I do have to tell you that I have a couple others in the stable right now. They're dining on some hay, but I won't be bringing them out. I have a mountain bike and another bike I purchased initially for my travels, for my touring travels, but I've since handed that down to my wife, and she enjoys riding around town with me and on other adventures as well. The first bike here is my Fuji Sportif. It's an aluminum frame road bike with a carbon fork. It's a great entry-level road bike. I ride most of the time here in Newburgh where I live. I enjoy riding this bike so much because it's so light and responsive. My favorite bike to ride overall, most definitely. My second bike is brand spanking new. It's a Salsa Journeyman Clara 650B designed for riding gravel or on smooth pavement. The wheels are wider, and I plan to eventually set it up for bike packing, which is a more lightweight way to go on multi-day trips or more uneven surfaces. Since getting hit by a car and having a head injury a couple of years ago here in town on another one of my Fuji bikes, I find the attraction to less traveled roads and designated bikeways, both gravel and pavement, far more attractive. Now this bike is a Novara Rondini. It's a steel frame steed I have named Seamus. I got it at my local REI store several years back, and it has not failed me yet. I load Seamus down with panniers in the back and off in the front as well. It's quite heavy when fully loaded, but an immovable beast when descending steep hills. The lower granny gears are quite useful when ascending the long, steep hills you encounter often here in the mountainous west. I've also put on some extra tough tires, Schwalbe Marathon Plus tires, to reduce the chance of puncturing and the hassle of fixing flats. Now, like I said earlier, Mark and I have been touring for quite a few years. We've traveled several of Oregon's 17 designated scenic bikeways, including the Old West Scenic Bike Route in the John Day, Long Creek, Painted Hills, Strawberry Mountain, Dayville area of Eastern Oregon. Also the beautiful Wallowa and Hells Canyon region of Northeast Oregon, famously known as the Alps of Oregon, where you will also get to see a canyon deeper than the Grand Canyon, Hells Canyon, which has the distinction of being North America's deepest river gorge at 7,993 feet. This region is also steeped in American history related to Chief Joseph and the Nez Perce Indians, We stayed at Wallowa Lake near Joseph, along with several mountainous and high desert campsites along the way a few years back when we traveled that route. We've also enjoyed a couple of tours along the beautiful Oregon coast, one all the way to the California border, and a more recent loop along the northern Oregon coast from Mark's floating home in Portland back to my non-floating terrestrial bound home in Newberg. The Oregon coast has a lot of traffic along it, and the shoulder's not always the widest in places, but you can't beat the scenery, and you meet people from all over the world while you travel this route. Last summer, we enjoyed traveling along a vehicle-free rail conversion trail from Snoqualmie Pass, which is just outside of Seattle, to Rosslyn, Washington, where much of the old TV series you may remember called Northern Exposure was filmed. The film was supposed to take place in Sicily, Alaska, but it was filmed actually, a lot of it in Rosslyn, Washington, and the studios elsewhere. At one point along the trail, we did take a detour to get up to the small town of Rosslyn along a regular, fairly low traffic highway, and then camped up in the mountains above the town. Oh man, we ate at a couple of great places in town and met some very interesting people along the way, including one man at a campsite we were at. He was from Turkey, or he had a lot of experiences doing multi-day cycle touring around the world and was keen to share his photos with us. You would be amazed at how folks open up about their lives when they see seemingly unassuming cyclists cross their paths and support their small communities and economies. Today I'm so thrilled to introduce you to our journey along the old McKenzie Highway, the Scenic Bikeway that's opened up seasonally. My friend and former colleague Mark Valeske and I traveled that route. The route direction we took in early June stretches from the charming western-style town of Sisters in central Oregon. The name of this popular tourist destination derives its name from the Three Sisters Mountains, north, middle, and south, which dominate the skyline to the southwest. The town of Sisters, filled with great shops, unique coffee cafes, charming hotels, local breweries, fly fishing outfitters, and restaurants, is located just west of Bend, Oregon, and is situated at about 3,100 feet above sea level. During our first day, we parked Mark's rig at the Sisters Ranger Station, then began our ascent up to our campsite for the night, Lava Camp Lake Campground, which we had entirely to ourselves. Man, it was great. The campground situated at 5,282 feet above sea level, so our first day's ride was generally uphill as we ascended a total of 2,182 feet to our campsite. The following day, which I will share in a subsequent episode, included our second day's descent and ascent along the route, where we enjoyed views of vast lava flows, ubiquitous obsidian stone along the way, famously used by local Native Americans for arrowheads and cutting tools, lush meadows filled with colorful wildflowers, and breathtaking mountain views along the way. As one descends about 3,400 feet down the western flank of the Cascade Range, you move away from ponderosa pine, more abundant on the east side, and you're met with more ancient old-growth Douglas fir, western cedar, and hemlock forests, as well as vine maple and abundant sword ferns in ample supply around here in Oregon. Amazing waterfalls and streams, small mountain lakes, and as I discovered, underground springs of fresh water for a resupply of water bottles cyclists often crave when climbing mountain passes in such regions. Once the seasonal roadway we were on meets Highway 126, which connects the city of Eugene to the Santiam Pass Junction, you can turn right and cycle into Belknap Hot Springs, where you'll find a small resort and camping spots for trailers and tents. It's really a cool place. There's also a swimming pool there fed by geothermal springs. The McKenzie River, world famous for its fly fishing and whitewater rafting and kayaking, flows along Belknap Hot Springs Resort, providing a beautiful setting and a highly recommended stay. Incidentally, the McKenzie River's source is Clear Lake. Hopefully the picture here will explain how it got its name. And after flowing down from the mountains and showing off with some very impressive waterfalls, it eventually flows into the Willamette River near Eugene, home of the Fighting University of Oregon Ducks and my alma mater. And then after that, the Willamette River empties into the mighty Columbia River when it reaches Portland, which then flows, of course, into the Pacific Ocean near Astoria. Well, I think I said enough. I think it's time to launch that 7th episode of Villa Scriptura. All right, here we go.
I haven't set this tent up in a while, so I might embarrass myself.
Well, the nice thing about the speedy thing is that you don't even notice that. I'll edit it so you look really cool.
Thanks.
I'll edit it so you looks like Mark knows what he's doing. Good morning. I'm here at Lava Lake Campground along the old McKenzie Highway, which is a seasonal highway that connects Sisters, Oregon with Belknap Hot Springs area here in Central Oregon. And I'm with my friend Mark. We started a bicycling ride along this highway because they have it open only to cyclists or hikers, and they plan to open up the highway on the 15th of June. So we thought we'd snatch the opportunity to come up here and enjoy this beautiful location for a couple of nights. We had a great night of sleep last night, enjoyed a wonderful campfire and a hearty meal, and we just had breakfast and had my couple of cups of coffee, so I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready for another great day on the road. And we should see a lot of beautiful things, and we plan to take some pictures to share with you. But as you know, one of the hallmarks of the channel that I'm starting, Villa Scriptura, is to get outdoors and show everyone some of the beautiful locations here in Oregon that we are blessed to be able to visit. So that's why I'm here this weekend, and it's been a wonderful time of just enjoying our friendship and talking about all kinds of different things and being together. Mark is someone I've been cycling with for many years now. We've cycled the Oregon coast, parts of Central Oregon, Eastern Oregon, up in the Wallowas, touring wherever we're at. So I hope you enjoy the rest of our trip, and again, thanks for joining me today on Villa Scriptura.